So today we're going to talk about the price of ambition. The price of ambition. Like, what does it cost? What does it cost to be the boss? This is the space and as I'm writing this book, of course, with some other young ladies, I had already been a small entrepreneur, writing books, doing a little something. But here's the thing that happened. This specific book was supposed to showcase what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what goes on behind closed doors, right? I was like, if it's going to cost all of this, I don't want to do it. I'm shaking people up, making them uncomfortable. I'm missing my friendships. And if I would have allowed that thought and those people, I'm just going to be honest, and those people to get to me and allow me to stop writing that book, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here, like, talking to y'all. Like, I wouldn't. We have all these ideas. I want to do this. There's no guidance. There's no structure. There's no backing. And I don't even think back then there was even a thing of mentoring. I started to think to myself, like, man, was I like not a good mom? Like, why is my child behaving this way? Let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about the price of ambition. The price of ambition. Like, what does it cost? What does it cost to be the boss? The things that you lose, the things in relationships that shift, the sacrifices that nobody talks about. That's interesting. So I want to talk about a little bit where I realized my ambition was actually costing me something. And it was very, very early on. I'm going to tell you guys a quick little story. I remember years ago, I was in the process of writing a book. And as I'm writing this book, of course, with some other young ladies, I had already been a small entrepreneur, writing books, doing a little something. But here's the thing that happened. This specific book was supposed to showcase what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what goes on behind closed doors, right? As I was writing this book, I realized something important that I put in. During my process in my small town, writing the book, I got a lot of negativity and flack, right? Didn't get the support that I was hoping for. I'm not going to say looking for, but didn't get the support that I was looking for. And I realized in that moment that I did not want to move forward with writing the book because I was losing too many people, friendships. It was just a lot going on. Everybody does not handle drama well. Okay. And I just was not handling it well. I didn't have tough skin. So I was really bothered. Like, I was like, if it's going to cost all of this, I don't want to do it. I'm shaking people up, making them uncomfortable. I'm missing my friendships. And if I would have allowed that thought and those people, I'm just going to be honest, and those people to get to me and allow me to stop writing that book, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here, like, talking to y'all. Like, I wouldn't. Because I almost gave in because I just didn't feel purposed in that moment. So when we talk about that, I felt like me on my journey cost me a lot of people, great relationships that I thought I had at the time. I felt like it cost family. Time is a really big thing. My kids were really small when I started writing my books and kind of growing up. So it cost me a lot of time with my family. And keep in mind, when we're purposed and we're like wanting to do, because we have all these ideas. I want to do this. There's no guidance. There's no structure. There's no backing. And I don't even think back then there was even a thing of mentoring, right? We just didn't have mentors. So I was feeling my way out, doing it on my own, right? And that kind of goes into what I feel I sacrificed, that I really don't talk about. I was having a lot of problems with my youngest child in regards to them being very rebellious. The typical thing that teenagers do, they talking back. And I did not understand why. I started to think to myself, like, man, was I like not a good mom. Like, why is my child behaving this way? And I did not realize that he was basically just resenting me for something that I unknowingly did. Okay. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that. We were having a conversation one day, and he said, I did not feel like you were there for me mentally when I was younger. And we're talking about the age of maybe like 9, 10, right? And in my mind, and like 9 and 10, like mentally, what could you have been going through mentally at that age, right? But now that I'm in a position where I am now, I'm a therapist, I understand that that could be an actual thing, right? Our children at younger ages can miss out and deal with things mentally, especially the way of the world. And so he said, I just felt like you weren't there for me. And I think in that moment, my immediate reaction was to, I think, clap back in a negative manner because I'm the parent, right? But I had to sit in that and really think about what I wanted to say and how my child was conveying their feelings to me. And I had to suck it up. And, that was something really hard that I had to hear, but I learned something from it. I learned that it's okay as an adult to apologize for mistakes that you made, even if we're apologizing to our children. And in that moment, even though it was hard for me to hear what he had to say, I apologized for not being present. I apologized for not being there for him mentally. First off, I didn't know how, because I'm a single mom with 2 children working 2, 3 jobs, trying to make sure that they ate, they had roof over their heads. So yeah, I probably was checked down in certain areas, right? So I really could not fight that. But I apologized to my child because even though I fell short, his feelings were valid. As parents, we just got to know sometimes, like, even though we consider the children, their feelings matter. And in the end of that conversation, my child told me, he said, you know what? That's all I wanted to hear from you was I'm sorry. Just as simple as that. Now, y'all, if I would have knew this years before, I probably could have saved myself some door slamming, arguing back and forth. Like, I could have saved myself all of this negativity if I would have, and I'm going to say this, if I would have known what the issue was, but taken accountability for what I unknowingly did to him in that moment. And so those are the things that we feel like we sacrifice. I know for me, my family, being present, being close, because I was chasing something, and let me tell you, during that time, I didn't want to work 2 or 3 jobs. I consider it in my prime. I wanted to live my best life, hang out, but I had children, so I had to do what I had to do. And so me being in grind mode like that, I think afforded me the luxury to have the mindset that I have right now. So because I started out having that hustle, that grind mentality, that has always stuck with me. But it's cost me a lot, right? And even now, in my relationships with my children, my family, my spouse, it shows up because I still have it. And so I have to force myself to be more present. Because of that ambition, I have to do. And I can look back at my life and be like, okay, hey, I've accomplished a lot of things, but still feel like I have not done enough. And that's because I have the bar raised really, really high for myself. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you guys may know, okay, hey, your expectations are here. And someone else can look at those expectations and be like, okay, hey, those are good things, but you're like, I'm still not doing enough. And so that can cause us a lot of things mentally. And so I asked myself this question, like, do I resent any of the sacrifices that I made? No, I don't, right? Because I had to, if that makes sense. If I didn't do the things that I did, then my children would have suffered in more ways than one. So I do not resent it. I stand by it, right? And I think that in that process, it grew me as a person. It opened my eyes to a lot of different things and ways to how I approach being a go-getter and wanting to do all of the things. And the main thing, guys, I really feel like we miss out on is having true support. I didn't have it at all. I was feeling my way through. I considered myself to be the most successful person in my family, but I always wanted more, right? So, you know, I was just telling, my family the other day, like, hey, I'm going back to school. And they're like, you stay in school. It's like, I feel like I want to get more and I want to be more, but it's all for the betterment of my children. And they grown now, 21 and 25. They're grown, but I still want them to be comfortable. Lord forbid I leave here, right? I want them to see the hustle, the mindset that I have, because I want them to know that nothing's going to get handed to them. You got to work hard for it. And everybody's work hard looks different, right? But they can look at their mom and say, wait, my mom always did it. We never wanted for anything. Let's just say that. And I cried a lot of tears. I had to do a lot of things to make sure that that happened. But I don't resent any of that. Like, it's a part of my story. It's a part of my life. And to be honest with you, I do feel like I've lost parts of myself throughout that whole process, because there was a time in my adult life, probably around 40-ish, 41, yeah, 40, 41, where I didn't know who I was. I actually went to therapy. Now, I'm a therapist. No, but therapists need therapists too. Okay. So I remember when I went to a therapy session in my early 40s, right? Going through something in life, as we all do. And the therapist asked me, she said, Kosha, who are you outside of your titles? Because I went up in there and she was like, tell me a little about yourself. And I was like, oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm going to town with all the things, okay? And she was like, well, who are you without all of that? And I was sitting there and I was like, I think I'm gonna stop there probably about a minute. And she just was looking at me and I'm sitting there looking at her. But y'all, I was so ashamed because I did not know. I did not know who I was outside of those types. For the longest, I felt like I was chasing things. And you gotta ask yourself sometimes, as I do. Just recently, the other night, I'm like, I got all these goals, ambitions, things that I still want to do, even at this big old age of 46. And it's like, what am I doing it for? Because I'm going to be honest with you, like some things that I do, I have to ask myself, like, am I really fulfilled? Am I really happy? But I know that I have purpose. And I know that I've been called to do these things. So it's like, it's different. But I do believe that it's kind of like you working at a job. You're working at a job because you know you have to, but you don't like your job. Like, you're just there. You're making money. So when you have to ask yourself those questions, like, it gets really deep. And so I always, even with my community of women that I speak to, we talk about those titles. We talk about the cost of ambition, because we're all chasing something. And it comes with a cost. It does. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You're going to lose something along the way. You're going to lose yourself in the midst. But the big thing about it is how you regain your sense of self after that. I embrace every sacrifice that I made, every hiccup, everything that I've experienced on this journey. I embrace it because that's a part of my story. That's who I am. And so I use that as a testimony, as something to talk about for other women to say, I've been through all of this stuff, but look at me now. But I also want to encourage people that when we are going after goals, we have to look at it from different lenses. Like, we have to, because we want to make sure that the things that are important remain that, and we're true to ourselves. So in closing, I want to just touch on, if I can go back, just way back to that little girl that had that bright idea to open a little girl's nonprofit home for pregnant teens, would I chase ambition again? And even though that first idea I had, nothing became of it because I didn't have the backing, I didn't have the support, but it still taught me a lot. So when I asked myself if I would go back and chase ambition again, the answer would be yes. Because it was a ride, it was a journey, and it taught me so much. A lot of the wisdom and the knowledge that I have right now, I wouldn't have that if I didn't chase ambition. So I don't want to say that there's something wrong with it. I want you to go after your dreams. Like, set those goals, because you do have a purpose. And I want everybody to feel as if, okay, hey, I'm accomplishing something. But I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't tell you to be prepared. Prepared for the sacrifices, prepared for the losses, prepared for the late nights, the hatred, like all of that. You have to be a strong person to survive it, right? And in the beginning, I wasn't strong. I had to learn to be. So if you're chasing something, I just want you to know that the price of ambition can be whatever you make it. And that's it for today. Signing off.